91.3 FM. Empowering excellence.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM in Accra and affiliates across the country. If you're listening in the Volta region, this is OFM 92.5, Dagbana FM 102.5. It's also picking the bulletin live in Tamale. We are live on Radio 192.1 in the Upper West region and also live on Radio Power and around the world. You can join us on classfmonline.com. And coming up this afternoon, about 13 people reported dead in recent Greater Accra floods, with Ghana National Fire Service warning death toll could rise as rescue mission continues. Meanwhile, the Ghana Meteorological Agency is warning of more rains in the coming days, urging residents in flood-prone areas to move to safety.
Well, so we are still monitoring the situation, but then we're anticipating that most areas along the coast are going to have or moderate to severe flooding activities due to the rains we anticipate.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama directs Finance Minister to release 300 million Ghana cedis from the contingency fund for urgent flood relief and mitigation efforts.
NADMO will do what it can to try and identify the victims and see how we can just support them in a way in the next few days. I've asked the Minister of Finance to release some money from the contingency fund so that we can do some post-flood relief.
While at that, the National Petroleum Authority is urging fuel stations in affected areas to shut down. The Ghana issues travel advisory as South Africa braces for planned anti-migrant protest.
The Ghana High Commission fa akwenye so amamu na mwate say ye waha ye mumu ejuma na ye besremu say otempese mumu bie mumu nipe bia be kwa ko bie business say wo business or so wo school ejuma bia.
Corporate projects for cut from July 1 as crude oil prices and dollar rates declined. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, University Cape Coast branch rejects GTEC's proposed harmonization of academic promotion guidelines, describing it as regulatory overbreach. In African news, Democratic Republic of Congo opposition leader barred from leaving the country amid rising tension in the country. These plus many other stories coming your way shortly.
We are grateful for your time with us here on 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi, and this afternoon I'm doing this with
Elizabeth Aidoo.
Now, the Ghana National Fire Service has confirmed that about 13 people have died following last Monday's devastating floods that ravaged Accra. The latest fatalities push the death toll from the tragedy even higher as emergency respondents continue search, rescue and recovery operations in affected communities. The floods, which lasted for close to 18 hours, left a trail of destruction across the capital. Homes and businesses were submerged, more roads became impassable, hundreds of residents were displaced, vehicles were swept away or damaged, while several electricity poles and other public infrastructure were affected. The disaster also disrupted economic activities and stranded commuters for several hours. A member of the Public Relations Department of the Ghana National Fire Service, Alex Kinate, who spoke to Class FM off record, indicated that the death toll could even rise further as emergency response or emergency personnel continue to assess the full extent of the disaster for missing persons. He would join us shortly, but let's take a listen to some of the victims who were affected by last Monday's flood incident and what they have been telling the media.
aha sen nyina ba bia woni nyina wontimi mba ha afa nyina afa nantwe mienu afa kas bebre ewa ha manfo poly tank ni fridge mu nyina de ko. I was at
the shop, so they called me and it was like the gutter is almost full, so I should come around. As soon as I got here, I noticed the water has already bashing. It's entering the room, so I have to make sure I raise up my books and his books and my iPad and everything up. I did that and I went to this one-story building here at the back of the bridge just to get myself to make sure I'm safe with my boy. So just within some couple of hours before we realized all the building got flooded. Not even just the household, the whole compound. Even our polytank got passed through the wall, through the fence, because all the household, everything was flooded. It was full to the extent of we not getting anything. So this is the only thing I have now.
Particularly, it's worse than what happened before. The flood, you can see here, this is the level of the water. As you see here, that's the level of the water. And then the whole compound was full of water. It carries these tanks that you can see here. A whole tray of these big tanks has gone outside. And then we have machineries here at the workshop here. We have machines here. This is Ghana Metals Fabrication Company Limited. So all of our machineries that we have here has damaged. Completely damaged.
So the issue is that it's beyond my control because all the goods that were flooded was on Saturday was taken away by water. None was recovered. The few that was recovered, condition is not even okay. So that is all I can say because I don't even know what to say again. I have not experienced such before. If I knew, even the trailer himself was sink inside water. The goods inside the trailer is also damaged. But when I open it, I will see what the condition. Even the ones on the roof, the goods I have over there. Oh.
Well, so those were some victims who were affected by last Monday's flood. And of course, what we do know is that President John Mahama also toured the capital and in a chopper, and he witnessed a number of things where he said that he would convene a national security meeting to fashion out a modality in terms of how we can address the situation within the capital. The president also says he's directed the finance minister to set aside a 300 million Ghana cedis, from the contingency fund in terms of addressing the issue with flooding in the capital and giving some relief items to affected persons. Let's take a listen to the president.
For a period of 30 days in June, we had 85 millimeters of rain. And then in 2025, it increased to 172. And then in 2026, for the same 30-day period in June, it increased to 333. Major government departments, and then also create a new center of growth so that our people will start building outside Accra in a new city instead of everybody looking for some space in Accra to build. So, but that's a long-term solution. Like I said, it's a 20-year project. They are still working on the designs. Once they do that, we'll demarcate. People can start buying plots. If they like, they can start building houses. We'll do the roads, bring the water and electricity so that it eases the pressure on Accra as a city. But I just want to express my sympathy with people who have lost property. Loss of property has been very extensive. I want to thank the military, NADMO, the police, and the Hydro Works and Housing Ministry, and all the emergency response team, 48th Engineers Regiment, for the rescue that they did. I've seen many of the videos where people had to be carried out of their houses. They deployed their boats, and they helped to save quite a lot of lives. NADMO will do what it can to try and identify the victims and see how we can just support them in a way in the next few days. I've asked the Minister of Finance to release some money from the contingency fund so that we can do some post-flood relief for persons who have been affected. Let us find a permanent solution to this Accra flooding problem. We shouldn't become like the vulture who, anytime it is raining, he says as soon as it stops raining, he will repair his roof. And then as soon as it stops raining, he says, oh, it has stopped raining, so there's no need to repair the roof.
And that's President John Dramani Mahama after he assessed the situation with regards to flooding in the capital. Meanwhile, speaking on the Class Morning Show, road and building consultant engineer Abdullahi Mahama attributed the devastating floods largely to Ghana's failure to prioritize proper waste management. He explained that the enormous volume of waste generated daily, coupled with indiscriminate disposal practices, has resulted in choke drains across many parts of the country. Meanwhile, the Ghana Meteorological Agency is also urging the public to remain on high alert, warning that more rainfall is expected in the coming days. Weather forecaster Frederick Kujo told Class News that current weather conditions remain favorable for moderate to heavy rains across parts of the country. He advised residents, particularly those living in flood-prone communities, to closely monitor weather updates and heed safety directives from the authorities to minimize the risk of further casualties.
So we're anticipating that today through to Wednesday is going to be mostly cloudy with intermittent slight to moderate rains, especially in the early hours of the morning and then also later in the evenings and then into the night hours. We are expecting that the intensity of these rains will be less as compared to what we've experienced for the past 2 to 3 days. But then as we move into the weekend, we're anticipating that we are going to get another rainstorm that would be of a higher magnitude. So we are anticipating more of moderate to heavy rains right from Thursday, Friday, and then into Saturday. Some parts of Sunday also, we are likely to get some of these rains. So we have to brace ourselves for the weekend and then also prepare ourselves, especially for people living within low-lying areas. The ground is already saturated, so a little amount of rainfall can cause flash flooding.
So please, which areas will be hard hit?
Well, so we are still monitoring the situation, but then we're anticipating that most areas along the coast are going to have severe or moderate to severe flooding activities due to the rains we are anticipating for the weekend.
That's Frederick Kujo, his weather forecaster at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. He says that communities along the coast, of course, as far as the upcoming rains in the coming days is concerned, will be hard hit. This is 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. In a related development,
now, reacting to the floods, the New Patriotic Party has criticized the government's handling of the recurring floods, accusing it of failing to implement sustainable anti-flood measures. In a statement, the party called for stronger coordination of flood assessment, greater accountability, and urgent reforms to address the persistent drainage and sanitation challenges. Also, meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority has directed all flooded fuel stations to suspend operation until they are declared safe. The authority says the measures is intended to prevent fuel contamination, fire and explosions following the recent flood. My colleague Portia Iram has joined me in studio for more in the statement from the MP. Portia, so run us through what the MP has been saying.
Okay, so following the recent heavy rainfall and flooding experience in parts of the country, the National Petroleum Authority has given a directive to all oil marketing companies, fuel station dealers, transporters, and also the general public to strictly adhere to. And the statement reads, all operators of fuel retail outlets affected by flooding shall immediately implement the following measures. 1. Immediately cease all fuel dispensing, loading, and offloading activities where flood water has inundated for forecourts, tank area or entered tank manholes, fill points or vent pipes. 2. Safely disconnect electrical power to fuel dispensers, canopy lighting, pumps, and all forecourt equipment using the main isolation switch where it is safe to do so. 3. Remove all staff, customers, and vehicles from the station and establish a safely exclusion zone, preferably of not less than 100 meters around the affected facility. 4. Prohibit smoking, naked flames, welding, and the use of spark-producing equipment and any other activity capable of igniting flammable vapors within the exclusion zone. 5. Report the incidents immediately to the nearest NPA regional office, the Ghana National Fire Service, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the respective oil marketing company. It also says operations shall not resume until floodwaters have completely receded. The station has undergone a joint safety inspection by the NPA and the Ghana National Fire Service. Underground storage tanks, pipelines, dispensers, and associated equipment have been inspected and certified fit for service by qualified personnel. Any water, contaminated fuel, or hazardous waste has been safely removed and disposed in accordance with applicable environmental requirements. The sale or distribution of contaminated petroleum products constitutes a violation of applicable petroleum regulations and will attract severe sanctions.
All right, thank you so much. That's my colleague Portia Eram bringing us a statement from the National Petroleum Authority directing all fuel stations to suspend operations until they are declared safe for use. Another Ministry of Foreign Affairs has issued a travel advisory urging Ghanaians traveling to or living in South Africa to exercise heightened caution ahead of planned nationwide protests and anti-foreigners demonstrations scheduled for today, June 30, 2026. The ministry says the planned shutdown and the anti-African campaign, coupled with an unofficial ultimatum issued by some activist group targeting foreign African nationals, could lead to incidents of intimidation, violence, and attack, although the South African government has stated that the so-called deadline has no legal base and assured the public that security agencies are ready to maintain law and order. Ghana is also advising its citizens to remain vigilant until the situation normalizes. Prospective travelers have also been urged to reconsider non-essential travels to areas where demonstrations are expected, avoid protests and large public gatherings, monitor local news and update from the Ghana High Commission, keep valid travel documents readily available, avoid traveling after dark where possible, and remain in regular contact with family members. Ghanaians are already in South Africa are also being advised to limit unnecessary movement, stay away from unidentified protest routes, keep emergency supplies and communication devices close at hand, and immediately report any threat or attack to the South African Police Service and the Ghana High Commission. The Ghana High Commissioner of South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, has been speaking.
Maybe a trim, South Africa for demonstrations, or yet bibria koso ewo oman yi mu no ama ye mu bebre pese mu kofie ye mu bebre a tro mu din bebre kofie dada na aka ye mu bi so okrom ha ochina ne da eye 30th June a ye nyina ye te from Akrofi mu lead demonstration say omo be shut down the whole of South Africa. Inti Ghana High Commission ye fa akwenye so ama mu nyina mwate say ye wa ha ye mu ejuma na ye besrem say otempese mumu bie mumu nipa bia be kwa ko bie business so wo business so wo school ejuma bia wo bia no ye besrem so de ba mu bie e koso no so ye besrem say bebia mote no especially mo a ye de mo ato hotels ebinum wo asori fie a ye mumu ejuma say next repatriation na be koso no mo be ka ho no ye besrem se bibia ya gia mamono ya ni police for akasa omo beba sa area mu ho abebo mu ho ban ye sremo obia enhedem ye mpese ye beti se police for ebo ye ho ban a ye wo fie bi na obi epie na asembia kwa kosi ebe ha ye nyina nti ebe sremo omo a mo ko ejuma nso no ye ma obia tie ase se unim se unni krata ye srew men ko ejuma na okwo ejuma so no nso wo krata Israel say for copy of sakrata ne kra ukodu baby na yebisa say for krata ne chromo a wo de krata no ebe chromo Ghana High Commission be koso a monitor situation no ye be koso a engage Ghanaian community through mu leaders na ye every day from day na asemi see ye ebesi ne mame fa kwenye sunsu mamontia ente say government of Ghana tias yes ombeboa ama yasa ye repatriation fufo eti enche bia no ebe ma mo asoate eda ye nyina ye be ehwe se mo betumi efi krom ha akwa kodu Ghana wasudwem menim se we so eye challenger aba we will pass through this again together as a people.
Thus, Ghana High Commissioner to South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, urging Ghanaians in South Africa to remain cautious there. So the Advisory Council of South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has appealed also for calm, urging the residents not to take the law into their own hands and warning that no individuals or group has the authority to intimidate or unlawfully target foreign nationals. He stressed that law enforcement agency will act against anyone who cites violence or engages in criminal act, while reaffirming that the South African remains committed to upholding the rule of law and protecting everyone in the country.
12 Live, you're on Class 91.3 FM. Let's turn our attention to some other matters because the University Teachers Association of Ghana, University of Cape Coast branch, has firmly rejected a proposed policy by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission aimed at harmonizing promotion guidelines for academic staff across public universities. The UCC branch joins UTAG, KNUST, which also rejected the proposal earlier in June 2026. UTAG, KNUST similarly argued that the rationale was, quote, unconvincing and insufficiently grounded, unquote, and urged GTEC to focus on broader structural challenges such as student to teacher ratios and inadequate staffing. In a statement issued on June 29, 2026, UTAG UCC described the proposal as exceeding GTEC's statutory mandate and intruding into governance functions that Parliament has expressly vested in the autonomous governing organs of public universities. My colleague Kwame Ochi Jr. joins me in studio with a copy of the statement as we have it. Kwame, so what more has UTAG been saying?
Very well.
We're talking about the UCC branch,
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so the UTAG UCC branch argued that the appointment and promotion of the academic staff are integral components of the university governance, of course, under the respective acts establishing Ghana's public universities. Again, together with the applicable university statutes and conditions of service, responsibility for appointment, promotions, and assessment of academic merit rests with University Council acting on the recommendation of the appropriate academic body. So that's what the Constitution says. So the association said the Education Regulatory Body Act 2020 Act 1023 establishes GTEC as the national regulator for tertiary education with responsibility for quality assurance, coordination and benchmarking, but does not confer upon the Commission authority to direct, harmonize, approve, or substitute institutional decisions on appointment or promotions. This association found GTEC's rationale that disparities in promotion standard exist across universities to be unconvincing and insufficiently grounded. So that's what they say. Again, they argue that public universities in Ghana were established with distinct mandates, governance structures, and academic cultures. That differences in promotion criteria are not anomalies requiring regulatory corrections. So the UTAG UCC, they are demanding that the proposed harmonization framework be abandoned forthwith and called on the government and the Ministry of Education to clearly affirm that GTEC's role is limited to national quality assurance, benchmarking, and the promotion of best practice. That the University Council retain their statutory authority over appointment and promotions, and that academic boards remain responsible for determining academic merits and scholar standards. So they want separation of powers between GTEC, the University Council, and the board. So that's what UTAC UCC is demanding, Charles.
Interesting development there. But Kwame, let me thank you for your time this afternoon.
But Charles, even before you move on, earlier you were talking about the flood issue.
Right.
Currently, we understand that the former vice president is currently at Barrier, the popularly known as Atala, to assess the situation on the ground together with the former Dr. Bame, together with the former member of parliament for that area, Slight Tete. They are currently assessing.
We're talking about English amount.
Yeah, but an English amount from Slight Tete, and then the former route and highways minister, MP for Bantama, Francis and Sobachi, together with the entourage, they are currently on the ground to assess the situation. I don't know what they're going to possibly do, but they currently are there to assess the situation.
We understand that the Wager Dam also had poured its banks, isn't it? You live around the place.
And it was, they did a spillage, I'm told, over the weekend, and currently it's an eyesore in that particular area.
I see. Kyoji, let me thank you for your time, and we wish your people there actually all the best, even as the former vice president and the team actually assess the situation there. And that's my colleague Kwame Otri Jr. with a copy of a statement released by UTAC, University of Cape Coast branch. This is 12 Live on Class 91.3 FM. Let's turn our attention to some other developments now.
Charles, let's stay all longer on the flood issues because the executive. Right. Chief Executive Officer of the Environmental Protection Agency, Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche, has announced that the agency will begin dredging rivers polluted and distilled by illegal mining and other human activities before proceeding with the planned chemical treatment of affected water bodies. She explained that the revised approach is to first restore water flow in blocked rivers channels to improve drainage, which would also then enhance the effectiveness of the chemical treatment. The intervention, she noted, is expected to help reduce flooding in affected areas.
To clean our water bodies, and that is proven. One challenge we also encountered is that the waters are not flowing, and so even if you treat the flowing river, it doesn't really flow because the rivers are choked or blocked with silt. So the first thing to do is to dredge and allow the flow, and then you can now apply the ironate nano copper to clean the river. That will remove the heavy metals, and it will also help with the turbidity levels. This will equally allow the Ghana Water Company to get good enough water to treat for our potable water that we need. From the EPA's assessment throughout the countries, we have also realized that most river paths are choked because of silt, sand that are in the rivers. We also see that some illegal miners, illegal other activities have diverted the river paths through other areas. What EPA will do is not just to dredge the rivers, we'll do a whole engineering, allowing the rivers to flow to their source where they come from to where they need to go into the ocean eventually. There are wetland areas which has been also used up by our same people. So we need to also allow the wetlands to function. There are storage areas for these unused waters when it rains. We need to allow the wetlands to also function as part of our ecosystem. And that EPA is going to ensure that is done. EPA will be collaborating with the land use and planning people or company to allow the waterways that have been blocked by houses and other built environments. So we allow, when it rains, water to flow to wetland areas, to river areas, and then eventually to the sea. And we believe that next year, this situation we are seeing now will not happen again in our.
That's the Chief Executive Officer for the Environmental Protection Agency, Professor Nana Amakluche.
Now, Elizabeth, we'll move on to some other stories, but let me bring you these details. And we are joined on the lines by the Executive Secretary for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. What we do understand is that fuel prices are expected to fall significantly from tomorrow, Wednesday, July 1, as global crude oil prices decline and the cedi records a marginal gain against the US dollar. Let's get onto the phone lines now and speak to Duncan Amwa of the Chamber. Okay, so I understand we have Mr. Paul, who is a researcher with the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Sir, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time with us on 12 Live. I hope you can hear me though.
Yes, good afternoon.
Right. I guess so. COPEC is predicting a significant reduction in fuel prices from tomorrow. So exactly how much should motorists expect to pay less per litre for petrol, diesel and LPG? And are all oil marketing companies likely to pass on these reduction immediately?
Well, thank you very much and good afternoon to listeners. Yeah, so tomorrow we are expecting that due to the drop in petroleum prices on the global market, especially with the reopening of the Hormuz, which has led to more of the products being available, invariably leading to prices, falling sharply on the global market. And then also looking at the positive correlation that we have with prices on the global market and then in country, we expect that oil marketing companies will also respond same to the drop in prices and also reduce their prices at the pumps. Petrol prices, we are expecting that petrol will be reduced by at least 6% on the market. So we are projecting between 13 cities, 36 pesos per liter for petrol tomorrow, and then a maximum of 14 cities and 3 pesos. Diesel, we are also expecting oil marketing companies to reduce same by 13%. And so we are expecting diesel to sell between 13 cities, 39 pesos, and then 14 cities, 80 pesos. Again, LPG, we are expecting that LPG MCs will also reduce same and sell, within COPEX projected plus or minus 5.
Very well.
So the kilogram we are expecting will be selling between 10 cedis per kilogram and then 9 cedis per kilogram.
Let me thank you for your time this afternoon. Of course, it is something that we would want to delve into at 5 o'clock. So definitely at 5 o'clock, we'll have you on so that we can actually delve into the metrics as far as this development is concerned. But you had the researcher and with the COPEC Ghana, but this is 12 Live. Even as we begin to wrap up, Electroland Ghana Limited is giving you weekly and monthly big rewards when you buy Samsung, TCL Media, and NASCO Electronics anywhere in Ghana and from any authorized dealer or reseller. So you just want to buy your LED smart TVs, split AC, double door fridges, auto grill, gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, microwaves, blenders, mobile phones, and more from Samsung, TCL Media, and NASCO, and dial *928 *8888 hash or go to register.electrolandraffles.com to enter a weekly and monthly draws approved by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Electroland Ghana Limited, rewarding your patronage the big way.
Now, are you ready to review your fortune? Review scratch for win is here to change your life for good. Just dial *850 *5 and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis or more in cash prizes. It's easy, exciting, and regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Just dial *850 *5 on all network. Choose your station to play. Select stake amount from 5 cedis to 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose your lucky card out of the 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo pin. Receive your game results and winnings instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. Get ready to scratch, win, and live your best life with Review Scratch for Win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis up for grabs. Review Scratch for Win. Scratch keke. Nadisika Seba.
And on that note, that's how we wrap up 12 Live here on Class 91.3 FM. My name is Charles Akrofi, and I did this with
Elizabeth Aidoo.
Up next is the afternoon business review with Nana Ajima and Prempe. At 5 o'clock, you want to join KOG and the team as they delve into the day's big issues. But remember to always visit classfmonline.com for some more stories. Have a good afternoon.